A Barnstable secondhand dealer to do time. Senator Dan Wolf working to reform homeowners insurance, a budget bonus for Barnstable, and rumblings about the governor. Details on this episode of Barnstable Today. It's Wednesday, January 30th, 2013. I'm Sarah Colvin. A former secondhand jewelry dealer will be behind bars for the better part of the next decade. Carl Marchetti, former owner of Cape Cod Precious Gems, was convicted Monday on charges of receiving stolen goods. At the sentencing, Judge Gary Nickerson called Marchetti a scourge on society. Chief of Police Paul MacDonald is pleased at the conviction.
Carl Marchetti was found guilty. He had 6 charges of receiving stolen property valued over $250. All 6 of them are felonies. He was found guilty on 5 of the 6 felonies. Mr. Marchetti was the owner of Precious Metals, which was located down on Route 28 beside the Midas Muffler, almost at the town line with Barnstable and Yarmouth. I mean, this gentleman's been in business for 25, 28 years. He's been a major fence over the years, and this is a huge arrest, huge adjudication of his case, finding him guilty, because this will make an impact on the number of burglaries that we have in this town, because now they have no place to bring their stolen merchandise.
Chief MacDonald says many new regulations are in place thanks mostly to how Mr. Marchetti was doing business at Cape Cod Precious Gems.
Ordinances were changed because of the way Carl was doing business. You know, now when you bring something in, it has to be photographed, you have to produce your ID, you have to pay him with checks, you know, all these regulations now in place. Of course, Carl didn't abide by any of those, you know, especially stuff he was taking in the back door. And whenever you take in jewelry that was stolen in a burglary, he takes in the back door and immediately melts it down, so it's literally, it's gone. But this was a great case. The detectives did a great job working on him, so he will be sentenced sometime today. And then he has another major case coming up again in Superior Court, probably sometime in the next 2 or 3 weeks. So this should put Carl out of business permanently.
Again, Marchetti was sentenced to jail time. He'll serve 8 to 10 years behind bars at MCI Cedar Junction at Walpole. Cape and Island State Senator Dan Wolf wants to make some changes to homeowners insurance in Massachusetts. Wolf and State Rep. Cleon Turner have filed a bill that could help.
What Representative Turner and my bill does, and Sarah Peake has also signed on to it, is it sets up a commission made up of, I think, 11 panels. I'm driving, so I don't have the bill right in front of me now, but I think there's 11 members on this commission. And what it does is it will study the viability of setting up a county-wide policy-owned insurance company, much like a local mutual insurance company for the Cape, that would allow us to buy our own insurance, negotiate with the secondary market, and assess risk, I think, in a more real and credible way.
Wolf says while the bill is focused on our region, he hopes that perhaps it could make a difference statewide.
That doing this for Barnstable, Dukes, and Nantucket County will also, let other regions of the state look at it and say, hey, maybe we should look at doing this in our area. But again, this bill is specifically just to look at the Cape and Islands, at our district.
But Senator Wolf says he's hoping the bill has an impact without ever having to even go into effect.
Is that we not have to go ahead and set up the insurance company, that the commission will look at this, and the private insurance underwriters that are currently in this market will reassess what they're actually charging us and lower it. And Sarah, the good news is we're already seeing some relief, and we're seeing new people come into the private market. So, we've been having this dialogue ever since Rep. Turner has been in office. Sarah Peake's been a leader on this as well. And since I've been in, we've been really bringing the players to the table. Our hope is that the problem gets fixed without us having to create a county-wide agency. But if we have to, we will. And I think that what we're going to see over the next couple of years is our rates are going to come down.
The bill, entitled An Act Creating the Cape and Islands Property Insurance Commission, was filed last week. Well, while Barnstable is working on its budget for fiscal 2014, so is the state. Governor Deval Patrick recently revealed his plan for the coming fiscal year. It includes some good news in terms of local aid.
Budget includes an additional investment in Chapter 78 that'll fully fund the state's commitment to providing a minimum of 17.5% of foundation budget in the form of Chapter 78. And what happened was back in fiscal year 2006, they made some major reforms to the Chapter 78 formula and they made a commitment to give every school district at least 17.5% of their foundation budget in the form of Chapter 78. So naturally, but that was subject to appropriation. They needed to appropriate enough money in order to do that, and they said they were going to do this over a 5-year period. Well, they were never in a position to do it, so we never saw an increase in Chapter 78 for the past several years. This budget, with the new taxes that the governor is proposing, allows them to honor that commitment and give us 17.5% of our foundation budget in the form of Chapter 78. And that's about a $2.1 million increase.
Of course, there is still lots of legislative work to be done before the state's budget is finalized, and Milne says Barnstable is being conservative in estimating its numbers for fiscal 14.
We're taking a conservative approach still. We're going to maintain that our Chapter 78 is going to go up by a minimum amount, like $25 per student, which is consistent where it's been increasing over the past couple of years. And we're not going to assume that we're going to receive this kind of windfall. I think we have a long road ahead of us in order to get these new taxes passed. I think the legislature is going to come up with a totally different budget. They usually do. They usually don't take the cellophane wrap off the governor's budget. They just develop their own budget, and then they'll meet and compromise and come up with a compromised budget. But so we're just going to proceed forward cautiously using the numbers that we've already projected as presented to the town council a couple of weeks ago when we had the joint meeting with the school committee. And if the day comes and we see this kind of significant increase, we can always come back with a plan as to how we're going to use those resources.
The state's budget is generally finalized in June. And speaking of the corner office on Beacon Hill, rumor has it that Senator Dan Wolf could be eyeing the state's top job. He gave us the lowdown earlier this week.
I'm very seriously considering a gubernatorial run for 2014. And Sarah, because I've been elected to do a job by the citizens of the Cape and Islands, if I do this, it will be in a non-traditional way, because I take very seriously that I need to be really good, and I want to be a really good state senator for the folks who elected me for the next couple of years. So one of the things I'm mulling over is, can I run for statewide office without abandoning the post that I now hold, because I take it so seriously and I want to do a good job at it. So yes, I am seriously looking at it. I've talked to a lot of people around the state who would love to see me jump in. And I think if we believe we can make if I believe that I can really make a difference by doing it, there's a very good chance I would do it. So probably make an announcement within the next month, certainly. But my announcement would include the commitment to not start really campaigning until next year sometime, because these 2-year endless campaign cycles with all of this stupid money involved is probably more than I can bear. So one of the questions I'm asking is, could I run a campaign statewide for governor, but do it in a slightly different way?
We will, of course, keep you posted on that developing story. A notice for those who travel in and around Keys Beach in Hyannis, C Street and Ocean Drive as well. The Stewart's Creek Culvert Project is underway. It began on Monday. The Keys Beach parking lot will be closed for the duration of the project. That is expected to last about 3 months. Road closures and delays can also be expected during work. Signage is in place at the intersection of C Street and Gosnold, as well as Greenwood Ave and Ocean. The project is designed to restore about 14 acres of salt marsh and estuarine habitat in Stewart's Creek. We will, of course, keep you up to date here on Barnstable Today, as well as on Barnstable This Morning, and also on the Town of Barnstable's Facebook page. With Barnstable Today, I'm Sarah Colvin.